Hearing number 5.
Hi, how are
So
you?
welcome to the 2026 caucus. I'm the president and I'm the chair of this meeting. But before we start our actual caucus, I'm going to ask the chair of the Kingston Democratic Committee to chair the meeting for at least a couple minutes.
Thank you, everybody. And for anybody who doesn't know who I am, I'm Bill Reynolds. I chair the Kingston Democratic Committee. And it's been custom over the last decade or so for the committee chair to preside over the reorganization and the election of a new majority leader. Anybody have any questions before we begin? All right, at this time, the chair will entertain a motion to place someone's name in nomination for the position of majority leader. Michael.
Thank you. I am
Do I
proud.
hear a second?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yes, you have to make
It was just looking at me.
I thought you made a motion.
I think you heard it, even though you didn't say.
Go ahead. Get this done.
All right. I am proud to nominate Michelle Hurst to serve as our Democratic Majority Leader. As now the longest serving of us here, Michelle has the experience of good budgets and bad, the creation of our form-based code, redistricting, and has now led us through the ongoing fight for rent stabilization in Kingston. In addition to experience here on the council, Michelle also serves in the mental health field, bringing needed perspectives of our most fragile neighbors and the institutions and families that support them. In both her job and life on the council, Michelle has been adept at navigating bureaucracy and conflict and finding solutions that will surely serve us all as majority leader. In addition to experience and knowledge, Michelle has the attitude to serve as our leader in this critical moment. Now more than ever, it is crucial for the council to assert its independence as a separate branch of government and provide needed oversight. I believe that Michelle will be the leader of a council that does its due diligence, research, and acts as the policymakers and appropriators we are meant to be. Finally, I am supporting Michelle because she has supported every one of us. Michelle is the first to call when something is on the agenda that will affect our wards and always backs us up on our priorities. Michelle has provided support for the council, holding Stony Run accountable, advancing PLAs and major capital projects, reducing affordable housing costs, just to name a couple in these last 2 years. As majority leader, I believe that dedication to us as colleagues will only grow and serves to benefit each of us and the council as a whole as we seek to make our community the strongest it can be. And I do not think we could ask for a more diligent and thoughtful colleague, leader, and friend. It is my honor to nominate Michelle Hurst to serve as our Democratic leader.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Sarah. Now, before we move forward, I think I'm obligated to ask 3 times if there are any other nominations for the position of majority leader for the
Can you
Kingston
say
Common Council.
You say
sorry.
anything about Michelle before? You're
Sure.
having the talents.
Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, Michael, I've been on the council the longest. Just saying, but really, I wanted to, having way too much, and they call me council meeting, I'm basically trying to call me council meeting, and it's because my position does work very closely with the majority leader. I just wanted to not do a long speech, but offer my support to Michelle because I think we will work really well together and look forward to this year.
Okay. Do I hear any other names being put forward for nomination to the position of majority leader? Second time, any names placed in nomination for majority leader? Third and final time, any other names to be placed in nomination for majority leader? All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to close nominations. Seconded by Sarah. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, I think it's a moot point. Want to formalize the vote for Michelle? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Close out this section. I should formally close out this section of the caucus. So would someone please move that we close out this portion of the caucus. Terrell, Sarah, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. That was very kind. And I will call this caucus, our first caucus of January 2026 to order. I first want to welcome back our returning council members. We've had an amazing 2 years together, and I believe we've really worked well and become a great machine. And we have 4 new council members coming on. And I feel like I know you all already, and it doesn't feel like this big leap to have you join us. So with that, we're going to begin. Yeah. So I do want to say that I am here, as is Andrea and all of us, to help bring you all up to speed, to mentor you. I would like to offer each of you to hold, I will hold a combined ward meeting with you guys in each of your wards. Sort of just jump off trial by fire and get that going within the first couple of months of your being in office. And there is no question that is silly or uncomfortable to ask to come forward. You only learn by asking. I want this to be a welcoming space where everybody respects each other and our ideas. And so let's begin. So we had an agenda. There is a legislation list, but first order of business, we're actually going to call for an executive session to go into executive session to discuss some ongoing litigation. And so I'm going to invite our corporation counsel to join us for a portion of that. And unfortunately, we have to ask everyone else to leave, but I need to know if the new council members are able to stay.
Well, we could invite the best public member, if not, don't trip. Sorry, executive session or attorney-client session?
Executive.
Let's, thank you. Oh, you're Jack. Anything else to do? Yes, not public members, you can invite us.
Okay.
So I can't make motions, I can't do that, somebody else can.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss ongoing litigation and invite our corporation counsel as well as members of the public, Ruth Katz, Tim Falk, Mr. Marvelli, and join us.
Didn't we go home?
Some of them dedicated to.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the legislation list. The first few resolutions have to do with our tomorrow night and the reorganization of the council. So I'm going to pass it to President.
So, thank you, Michelle. The first one is adopting the tentative order of business, which is actually also listed in the rules. So I'll explain that more in detail when we go over the rules. So that first one, the second one is adopting the rules of the common council. So I did send it to you. I cleaned up quite a bit. So most of it wasn't substantive, but I do want to go over the few points that I think will. So the points that I added so that they follow our practice. Here I do a little bit more cleaning up of these, and Barbara has helped quite a bit, especially that first, when it was written in 1908 and it hadn't been changed until we took a stab at it, and both of us were like, I don't even know what this means.
This is things language.
Yes. So we've just been trying to get it to fit the practices so that everybody who comes in on serving in council knows what to do, and also the public knows our rules too. And then a couple of more substantive changes. So rule 1 is about the meetings. The only thing that I added was rule 1A, which is that I call this a second meeting in December. That is our practice. In case the mayor vetoes our budget, we have something for the end of the year, but that's never been in our rules. It is now in our rules. Next rule 2, I changed it so it's the council president shall be addressed as not Mr. or next president. Who's I would like to make sure that we're inclusive of everybody, and it will not always be me. So, rule number 3 is not changed. Rule number 4 has a few changes. So one of them is just to clarify the communication process. This is rule 3. Or no, that's 3. Rule 4, number 3. This clarifies our communication process and our agenda items. So anything that we talk about on agendas have to go through my office, and I assign everything on the agenda. So you can't just say, oh, I want to talk about this without contacting me and getting it on the agenda, which that's what Michelle and I did for this. This is why it was late. I accepted it because I felt like it was an emergency or time sensitive to talk about it with our court counsel. And so I added it on. Otherwise, that's not it. That's the process it needs to be. Number 4. So this is probably the most substantive change. And I talked to the chairs of laws and rules and finance about this. And so let me know if this language kind of fits what we talked about. So the idea is how did you word it, Ben? The upper class alderman. Because I kept saying old. I'm like, I don't want to be called old. The upper class alderman will know what I'm talking about a little bit more. But there's often times where we get something. A lot of times it's from finance, which is where this will affect. Is whether it's a local law that's just hefty, we have to read a lot, we have to research a lot, or if it's a finance that is outside of our normal budget and there's a big expenditure that sometimes we feel rushed and we may not have all the information. So this puts a little bit of pause when it's appropriate. So the idea is that me and the consent of whichever committee chair, which would be usually finance or laws and rules, would require a council sponsor from any of the body of us to carry that through. So that way we know somebody has eyes and they're making sure if it's something that clerk counsel's office should pay attention to, that they get it, because there have been times where there have been, we get to a meeting, we talk and ask a legal question and court counsel's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Because she didn't get it. I assume that she did. So this kind of just cleans things up. It does slow things down, and I know that can be frustrating, government moving slowly, but it does for a reason. And so that we do it very thoughtfully. So that's the change. Is this fit the language that we talked about? And we figured we're just gonna try it and see, because the thing with these rules is we can make changes to it, and they are changed each year, but changed throughout the year itself. So does anybody have any questions? Because that's the only thing that's like super new.
About the rules in general, or just this
This
rule
rule,
for?
that rule. Okay,
I don't know, just this rule, okay, I have other questions, but.
all right. I'm just gonna go through the changes because hopefully they'll answer the questions, and if not, also I just want to note, I did mention in an email, but I know you, especially the incoming members have gotten like one forward from me. I will do I'll do it like an actual training session on these rules, because I know some of them are still legal talk. So they're a little confusing. So we could save some of those. These feel comfortable. So the next one is 6. Again, this is the clarified practice. So I said not fulfilling their duty as a committee member, this is often just you don't show up without telling me or the chairperson. The penalty, and I almost never do it, but there have been times where it should have been done, is that I would remove the voting privileges for the next meeting. If you don't show up, and again, I'm not going to be unreasonable. I'd ask you why you didn't show up, if it was a health, if it was a family emergency, or if it's like the only time that you've ever done it. But this allows some space for accountability, for all of us to make sure we're all good team players. Committee reports. This is again just clarifying our practice. I made sure that the committee reports reflect the intent of the committee. I also talked about how the committee reports must receive a motion and a second in order to receive discussion and then the vote. And if the committee report receives a majority of the vote of the committee, it goes to the council. So that's just clarifying our practice, which hasn't been in the rules. Rules 6 and 7. 6 is the same. Rule 7, if I'm going too fast, I can talk fast, let me know. Rule 7 is the order of business. So there's 3 things that I added to it. One is G, the presentation of the Common Council Community Award, because we've been doing that since 2020-ish. So I wanted to have that as part of this, mainly because I hope that I started this tradition. So I hope that in a couple of years, whoever is sitting in this chair will continue that, because I think it's the best part of our meetings. M is also different. All right. Adhering to our practices and remembrance dedications, which you all have heard us do, but it's never actually been on the agenda or in the order of business. So I added that. That's where if somebody that in your ward or in the city, doesn't have to be your ward, has passed away and you want to dedicate in their memory.
I just want to ask, I just thought of something. So you know how we have to give Elisa, the clerk, a copy of the obituary? Should we have that in here? That piece, or?
I don't know if that should be, I don't.
Okay, because it seemed like she had to have that, so.
When we talked about, as long as we do it, I don't think it's, because it's not really a rule for the council. I'll think about
So
it.
to give that, but to give a copy to the clerk's office,
But sometimes, can I think about that?
Okay.
And then the actual change is L. I added a closing message from the council president, and the purpose of this is I want the public to better understand what we do and what we have done and what we're coming to do or going to do in the future. So this would be about giving kind of like a heads up on what's coming to the public. If they stick around that long for our meetings, we'll get to hear. Rules 8, I just changed the public speaking format because it was all in one paragraph. So I just broke it down into different rules. I did make one substantive change on this, and I'd love to hear your opinions on this. As you may know, well, I don't need to say that, but H, speakers must provide their name and ward number. So before it was their address. There have been, excuse me, concerns brought to my attention about coming up and saying their address for safety issues. But I also think it's super helpful to know if somebody's from the city of Kingston or not. So this is kind of my not compromise, but thinking of both of those things. It's important for us to know, but also we want to make sure nobody feels unsafe. So it was in you say your name and ward number or the name of your municipality if you do not reside in the city of Kingston. Yeah.
What if you don't know what word?
I know, I
Yeah.
thought maybe we could get, I mean, if they do, if they come up and say they don't know their ward number, I could say, do you live in the city of Kingston? You know, something like that, or it would be nice to have a map. Someplace.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also, because it would be good then for people to say, to look at it and be like, oh, I'm Sarah's
And it
constituent.
also would be good if someone's speaking to know that that person is in your board so that you can follow up with them too.
Right, right. But I did think about that and I just
Yeah.
figured, I mean, people will be, you know, they're like, I don't know which ward, then I'll just, you know, city of Kingston. For the
Okay.
is everybody comfortable with that change? That's,
Yeah, I like the idea though, of maybe just even a small one that's just laminated by where the sign up sheet is.
oh, that's a good idea.
So people can see.
Yeah.
I have a large one too.
Yeah.
Together around.
School's gonna be challenging.
I guarantee you learned something. Only your ward number.
Can't read it when it's small.
Right.
Can't read it when it's small, so you really do need a big one. You'd have to have a larger one.
Rule 9 is the same. Rule 10 is the same. That's the one that's a little bit more legal, I think. Rule 11, even more legal, is the same. Rule 12 is the same, also very legal. Maybe next year I'll work on language. Unlegalizing it. And rule 13 is the same. Rule 14, one difference with the financial disclosure form, which you will all get fairly soon, that you have to fill out by February 15th. I just wrote, because it had said it has to be submitted to the city clerk's office. Oh, if you fail to submit it, you have to, you can't vote until you submit it. So just notification to me so that I would know. And then I also wrote or majority leader if the offending party is the council president. I have to fill it out too, so it wouldn't be fair if there was no penalty for me. And those are the changes. There were some like small word changes and just like basic editing, and I didn't mark those spots. But any questions? Yeah.
Just going back to rules of decorum for the council.
Can you tell me what rule number?
So rule number 4
Of
or 9?
what Roman numeral?
Excellent.
Oh, I got it.
So I'm sorry, it is
Yeah.
4.
No.
That's fine.
9.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Roman's laws. Okay, so, I'm not seeing here where there's any penalty for a council member, for the common council. Profane language or inappropriate communication. So I think there should be some responsibility that a person. Similar to, losing the ability to vote at the next sessions.
I mean, there is a more general enforcement where
I
I
see
say,
that, but for
yeah,
common
but
council.
no, I mean, even below, I think in the enforcement rules section, We could add something, because I agree, I mean, we've never really had an issue, but in case.
But it does say rules for public speakers.
Yeah,
There's a 5C, but it doesn't say that for council. So it seems like we should be
Yeah.
subject to the same rules as the public speakers.
We should be modeling good behavior.
Yes.
Swear.
Wait, are you asking, so you're asking to put 5C up into 4, or are you saying, because there's no enforcement for the public speakers in this section, there is earlier.
There is earlier, and I think alike, I'm forgetting which one you had.
Well, for the public speakers, I ask them to
Absence.
leave, I give them a
It was
warning.
language had having to do with the absence of common council members, that if it was unexcused.
Right.
So if you take the language that has to do with penalty and paste it in here.
Okay, is everybody okay with that?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I mean,
I feel like a advisement, the first round would be sufficient, and then if it, the pattern, then that would result in a penalty.
well, it would be at the discretion of the thing, because I enforce all the meetings with the council and with the public. So it would be at my discretion. It wouldn't be, I don't like Michael's sneeze, they're too loud, and, you know, I find that profane, so I'm picking them out. So it wouldn't be, you know, I mean, I guess that's just for me though, so who knows for the next person.
So as council members, we are employees of the city and thus we are subject to the harassment policy, correct?
Yes,
So-
I mean, that's also part of.
So I think that already covers a lot of it. Of like the most extreme circumstances.
I don't know that, I don't know that foul language would fall under harassment.
I think it was directed at somebody. I think I said.
But the harassment training that we have to do is, you know, what most employees have to do for their employers, watch the videos. And you're learning about it. It's not, there's no accountability if you're going to, you know, you watch the video and check that off, but then you could still be a jerk in meetings or whatever. The training didn't fix that.
Right, and so what's the
Oh.
repercussions is my point.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about that, out with the curse, so. Never heard the curse.
Yeah. never.
Thank you, Bob.
And would this also then apply to committee meetings?
Yes.
Same rule, yeah.
Keep it PG-13.
There we go.
Let's use one.
I'm gonna add it when I go. Sure, you go a little quicker, but I just wrote add enforcement. And I'll use language that is very clear, it's discretional.
Right.
Marissa, did you have a question?
Yeah, minor. So there's a section of Rule 1, 2B.
Oh, sorry, what was Roman numeral?
Rule 1.
Oh, well, Roman numeral 1, fine.
Rule for numeral 1. 2B about virtual participation meetings, and it ends talking about it's identify while the meeting, like the screen must be on while the meeting is being conducted except for executive session or attorney-client session. I think it's important to note, to clarify, during executive session or attorney-client sessions, the virtual first participant cannot participate in them.
They do participate.
They do.
Yeah, by conference call.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. So what will happen is they turn off their camera and obviously mute, and then for a while, we were using that conference, the actual phone, but then it stopped working. So you have just a bunch of cell
Oh,
phones.
so that's how you do it. Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
And then there was a rule about Rule 8, public speaking, 1J. In lieu of oral testimony, members of the public may submit written testimony which will be distributed to the council by city clerk.
how is that comment to be submitted and
They email, well, it's kind of ongoing, so
so there isn't a cutoff date?
not really. I mean, if it's at 12 o'clock on the meeting, she'll stop doing it for that meeting, but then she'll just put it on the agenda of the next appropriate meeting.
Okay.
And then also email it to us.
I have a question. I'm not seeing in here, the practice that we have of requesting a substitute if we can't make it to a meeting, to find a sub to actually vote for us in a committee meeting if we're not going to be there. Is that, did I miss
No,
it
it's not
somewhere?
on there. It's in the handbook, but it's not here. If you would like me to add it, I can.
Maybe that is a good thing, because we're talking about the rules here, just that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is not, we usually, I guess the reason why I didn't add that in as a rule is because sometimes I'll just do it too, or the chair, you know, it's not always, but if we want to make that a rule, it's like that's your responsibility.
I think it could be helpful to also then it creates accountability. So if you're not going to be here, you're just not blowing off, not telling us and not.
Finding someone else who can vote on your behalf.
So, yeah,
There's a good point. On your behalf. That's the key word.
Yeah.
well, yeah, but it's, you're, so if you're substituting for Michael,
Mhm.
you do not have to vote the way Michael would vote.
Oh,
No.
Yeah, you are.
You-
then
so-
Michael will never call me, probably.
Well,
Yeah.
it creates that accountability in trying to find the person
Correct.
to be your replacement.
Right,
Right,
But what if you can't find a person?
and then you don't.
but you have to find someone.
That was the point I was trying to make on your behalf.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, it's not, I don't like language on your behalf
Right.
because then it infers that you have to.
You are voting the way Michael would have you vote. Yes.
But you know, you could vote your conscience.
It's still little things in life we gotta ask counsel about that.
His rules. Your rules. Does anybody want to add that and then I can come up with language? No?
No, it's just good for everybody to know, because especially the new people would not know that, you know, that basically if you're not going to be available for a committee meeting and you want to make sure that there's a quorum at that meeting, you need to find somebody else on the council to.
That was clear.
That was clear. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Angela sent us.
Oh, so you have the handbook already.
Can I get a copy? I haven't seen it in a while. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Maybe send it to all of us.
sure.
I know I have it, but if it's been updated.
It's still not my. We're working on test. Editing is never complete. I just have to, yeah, and that's all I do all day long is edit. Okay, so I will make those couple changes. And those are the rules. So that is resolution number 2. Thank you. And thanks to Michael and Michelle for meeting me, brainstorming that, and having hopefully it resolves some problems that we've had in the past. So resolution 3, this one's for Brian. This is the resolution recommending approval for designated Daily Freeman as the official newspaper of the city of Kingston. So it is the daily paper for Kingston, so we need to have a daily because we need to have the notice out. We can't. Weekly doesn't work. It's the timing could potentially cause problems, I should say. What is it for to have a daily paper? That's where we'll put all our notice. So anybody will know where to look if they're looking for a meeting of the city, the Kingston Common Council.
But they're legal notices, so like public hearings, any other actions in the city, so foreclosures, things like
And
that.
there's always timeframes, statutory timeframes for these. So that's why I said it could be a problem with the weekly newspaper. And the timing wouldn't work out for us, but with the daily, it does. And at least, yeah, those I track their schedules. So we haven't had an issue in a long time. Thank you. Yep, resolution 4 is the approval for adopting the investment policy. Do we get a copy of that?
I've not seen that.
I have not.
I've not seen it for this
Okay,
year.
all right, I will make that request.
From John.
Andrea, I
Yes.
got it. I did receive it pretty late in the day, so I will post it tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, are you gonna post it to the agenda? Can you also send an email to the alderman too?
Absolutely.
They're all connected, right?
They are?
Connected? connected, email?
I'm up.
Oh.
It's just that I gotta get my phone to verify. And I didn't get that.
No, I don't have any windows.
Oh, really? What? Oh,
I was going to kind of that I would, I have to go in person.
I tried really hard to get that one day.
I think that it, yeah.
Okay, I send it to the alderman, please, Lisa, and I will forward to the four of them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
It'll
because
also
once-
be on the
Once you
agenda.
get your email, if you're getting a phone or a laptop, it's gonna ask you to verify. So therefore, I said, oh, easy peasy, and I'm thinking, let's send it over to one of my phones, so I'm going, I don't know that number, so.
They're gonna try, they're trying.
City number for the city.
So the city, I called and Kyle said, yeah, it's sitting here, just stop in, but I had to be somewhere else, so I couldn't get back here. So I came down today to make sure I signed up.
All right, so I will
3 cents a day.
continue to email you on other emails for at least.
You did the math.
I got it down to the thing. Just wanted to know what my work was.
I wish you hadn't told me that. I never
Yeah,
thought into the math.
I never did the math either.
I thought it was,
Don't do it, just don't do it.
You want me to keep going? Okay, so, we do have to make one change after getting legal advice. We will add, resolution 5 will stay the same, but we will add another resolution. Or does it have to be a resolution? It's not really a resolution, but we'll add an actual vote on overriding the veto.
Wait, so I'm not, is that another whereas clause or is that
No.
another resolution?
Another vote, different vote. That way we keep them separate.
Wait, so can you repeat what you said? What's being added?
Nothing, oh, sorry. The resolution that I sent you yesterday, whenever it was, that will stay the same.
Okay,
We will add another vote, which will actually be the overriding the veto.
so
So
there are
the
two
first
votes.
one, yeah, got it.
And
Okay.
what does the first one say?
The first one is the one that you read.
Right.
So
It explains the reasoning and answers some of the objections that the mayor had. And the second one is just a pure, we have to override.
So there actually are two visible votes.
Just
One on
Correct.
the resolution, the other to approve it.
are we gonna have
Okay,
different
got it.
numbers?
It won't be a resolution, so.
Oh, okay.
We'll add that in and I'll be super clear up there. And I'll look, if anybody has a question, this may be important. If you have a question as we go, I'll be very clear, but if you have anything that you're procedurally unsure, just ask for a point of order, raise your hands and I'll call on you and I'll explain it again.
So what are you passing this as a separate like a separately numbered resolution?
We're not getting, the override, we don't have it, you don't have to do it as a resolution with a number, do we?
So.
Do you want
Attorney-client session?
So. If you,
yes,
when you,
very kind.
Attorney-client session.
Okay, so.
Oh, yeah.
No, she's no executive session.
you're just handed in by the time,
Okay.
So going back, hold on, but yeah, after resolution 4, that's when the override veto vote, or the vote to override the veto vote for. And just as a reminder, it needs a supermajority, so that means 6 of you. And then we would do resolution 5, which would be the memorializing resolution of, with all the, our reasonings for overriding, which that would only need 5 votes. Resolution 6, this is always a weird one. Resolution to let the mayor come and give his state of the city address. So, after that, we would, Mayor Noble will come in and give his state of the city address. And then, what's the agenda?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask what the.
Is this something that we're gonna send back? The second reading? Did we have a conversation about that? It's the.
Was this the
Because
parking?
you remember, no, it was like the little things that I changed. I think I think you sent an email. Sorry for not.
That's all right. I wasn't privy to that by this new week's.
But I think because Barbara said there's other changes that could happen on this section.
Oh, yeah,
So we should do it comprehensively.
yeah, there were a few of them and it's been.
About like the code books and being online.
Yeah, because we don't sell them.
Yeah, there was a list.
Yeah, so it's, so can we?
Yes.
So
Very careful.
what happened? Is I will have Elisa read it and then I'll know Michelle's gonna make the motion. And what we're doing is sending it back to laws and rules to work on it a little bit more detail, or more comprehensively.
Yeah, we're in the process of going through, we just started to go through the code, our municipal code and update outdated language and practices.
So Michelle will make the motion to table it or send back.
Send back to committee.
And then somebody
I can second
is
it.
gonna second it and then I'll call for the vote. Alright, and then after that. What else is happening tomorrow?
Second reading
Oh,
of the
thank you.
law.
Yes.
Would it then need to have a first reading again and then a second?
Now we're
We're
gonna
gonna make that
change.
fun to do it.
Right.
So,
It's gotta go back through committee.
Right, that's what I,
Yeah.
that's what
yeah, and then it's just the, quick things. I will go through the presentation. I have to read that out loud, but I'll do it really quick. And, we have some, I'm really excited. We have like super great guest, Rita Worthington, who is a former councilwoman in Ward 4, who's gonna do the invocation. My father's gonna play the saxophone. And especially Claire and Amelia are Amelie, excuse me, I'll have to.
Like that French
Yeah.
movie from the
Okay.
window.
Will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And cannot guarantee perfection, but.
As long as she's standing.
Do you think it would be better up near me, or do you want me to go down to where?
They'll probably get up over here.
Awesome. Okay, great. So I'll invite them on.
They're not bashful.
Great.
How old are they?
5.
Oh.
They're gonna steal the.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're identical girls.
It's gonna be a roller coaster of emotions tomorrow, I think. We feel good and, some tension but I think it's gonna be an exciting night for sure. But that's the meeting, so. Ready? That's all I have.
Anything else anyone wanna ask or bring up or? All right,
Just have
Oh, I
one.
do.
Now, should we be prepared to say anything or with regard to resolution, the memorializing resolution? Do we need to say anything or we could just?
Whatever
you want.
If you want to, that's fine. There's nothing that I think we need to get across.
I kind of like the.
Let's just get it done.
That is up to you guys. I obviously will open the floor.
Okay.
Michael,
And can we speak on our vote to override the mayor's veto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, say that again, question again.
I didn't hear.
I asked, will we be able to speak on, vote on whether or not to override the mayor's veto?
Yes.
Because there's two different votes.
Yes.
And so you could speak for both of them if you would like. I mean, I think that might be redundant, but it's up to you.
Depends on what you say.
Yeah. I do have a couple, I mean, so it's business attire for the council meetings, which I assume you all have seen this. I will have.
Every day.
You can just wear it tomorrow. And committees are, I should have told you all this, but you guys have been here, so you know. So, the only other thing that I thought it would be important to mention, I should have mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, typically how we run our meetings is raise your hand and the chair will call on you. Because otherwise we can't hear each other, and especially the people listening, because it's a little harder to hear on that, is they won't be able to hear if there's conversations happening. So we just raise our hand and get on the queue for whoever the chair is to call you. And I'll have more stuff, but it's been a long night, so.
One last thing I would bring up. I don't know if anyone's spoken with you about keeping track of your time if you're going to be putting your hours in for the retirement system. You have to track your time for like the first 3 months. So it's good to just log it as, you know, start a meeting, end a meeting, or phone calls and things like that. So it's much easier to do. So write it up.
I don't think that
5 years vesting.
Okay. All right. So can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay.
Thanks,
Motion by Carol.
everyone. Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks, have a good